We talked about this in Sabbath school, Brother Rodney, right? Yes, we talked about this in Sabbath school. And what parent, talking to the parents, if your child comes up and says, hey, give me my inheritance now, would you do it? Yeah, like, I'll give you your inheritance. Get out. Get your own inheritance. Because we wouldn't naturally do that. So the character of the Father, listen to this. The character of the Father. Remember this phrase. Ultimate love requires ultimate sacrifice. This father, this parent loved his son so much, even though he knew what his son might be doing with the goods. He still gave it to them. We're going to come back to that lesson. So let's go on. So the father divided unto him his living, and not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his goods and his journey to a far country, and there he wasted his substance on riotous living. You remember these three parables, right? The sheep, the coin, and the son. What does the lost sheep represent? I made sure it's okay. It's okay, you can read it. I did that on purpose. So what does the parable of the lost sheep represent? Those who have wandered from God. Because guess what? Sheep are not trying to get into trouble. Are they? No. They're just wandering and they get lost. They don't know where they are. And all of a sudden they know that they're not home. And they're by themselves. So they need someone to go and get them in order to bring them back. So it's those that have just wandered from God through deceptions or whatnot. What about the coin? What does the coin represent? Does the coin know that it's lost? No. So the woman has to go searching, turning everything upside down to find this coin, and they're rejoicing. This coin did not know that it was lost. So it represents those that have no idea. They're just living their life without even knowing that Jesus is looking for them. But this lost son parable is different. And we're going to hash out why it's different. The prodigal son, this was his phrase. I want to do what? What I want to do. Because guess what? When he asked for the inheritance, do you think he knew what he was about to do? Do you think he just said, okay, now I got the money, what am I going to do? He had it thought out. He knew, because the next verse says, a few days later, he went where? He didn't go to the next town. He didn't go just, across the border. Oh, he went to a far country, a far place. I want you to think about it like Jonah. God sent Jonah to Nineveh. Where did Jonah go? Across the Mediterranean, as far as he can, away. That was what the prodigal son wanted to do. Now, why do you think he wanted to go that far? Why is that? To get away. What else? He didn't want to be seen. He didn't want nobody to hear. He didn't want the report to go back to his father. But let's look at it the other way. He didn't want his conscience to bother him. So he gets as far away as he can from the source of his conscience so that he can do what he wants to do. Now, this is interesting. We're gonna talk some science right quick. Is that okay? Let me ask this. How many of you believe that your bodies are fearfully and wonderfully made? Okay, very good. Now, how many of you understand the way that your body works? Someone? Any health professionals here? Raise your hands, okay? Any health professionals here? Okay, good. Because some of this that I'm going to talk about, we're going into anatomy and physiology, okay? Because I want you to understand what Satan knows about you and how he uses it against you. Because you're just walking around not knowing, and he's like, oh, good. I've got the advantage here. I know how you work. So check this out. We're going to look at your brain here. In your brain, there are three main areas. You have the neocortex up here, which, what does the neocortex look like? It's that spaghetti-looking thing, right? What happens in that area? You're thinking, you're rational, you're processing. That's why it's called the rational or the thinking brain. Now, inside of this spaghetti structure, right in the middle of it is what's called the limbic system. Now, the limbic system is responsible for what? Emotional or feeling. So I'm going to say it this way. When you get hungry, your limbic system fires and says, hey, I'm hungry. Your frontal lobe, your cortex, should say, dude, we just ate an hour ago. But then your limbic system comes back and says, no, I don't think you understand. I'm hungry. I want some Coke, some Pop-Tarts, some chips. Because the limbic system is not telling you that I want some veggies. It's not telling you that I want some plant-based meal that is high in nutrients and vitamins and antioxidants. It's not telling you that. It's telling you, I want the good stuff. I want the stuff that will release dopamines so that I can keep wanting more. That's what your limbic system is doing. Or we can put it another way. Sorry. Check this out. I'm going to show this before I tell you the other way. This is an MRI of a brain. Okay, this is actually of a rat's brain. And inside the rat's brain, you see this hole here? What they did, experimenters, they drilled a hole through the brain and into that part of the brain and put a needle there. Not a needle, electrode. Something to zap just quickly. Now, that part of the brain is part of your limbic system, and whenever they zapped that part, they realized that the rat would get some endorphins. And you're really like, oh, that feels great, because that's the area that deals with your pleasure. So what they did to the rat, or mouse, they put it up with the electrode, and they tied the electrode to a button. And they gave the rat the choice to press the button or to eat. What do you think happened? Why would they press the button? Because what? Because it feels, yes. So the rat had the choice to press the button or to eat, and the rat, once it experienced what this button does, it pressed it. Now let me tell you how often they pressed it. It's going to blow your mind. This rat pressed it 5,000 times, wait, in an hour. 5,000 times in an hour. And the only reason he did that was because, that feels great. Now remember, we're talking physiology here. That is exactly how your brain operates. And Satan knows this. So if he can just get you to think with your limbic brain and just whatever you want, give into it, because it feels good, you're just like that rat in his hand, in his lap, pressing it 5,000 times. Now you're going to be surprised. Because I did mention foods because that's the most obvious, but you're going to be surprised what else does that. Actually, where's CJ? Is he here? That's brother CJ. Sorry, bro. I'm calling you out. You're among family though, right? Okay. So this is what happened. Check this out. We were talking earlier, and all of a sudden his phone does the ESPN chime. Now you have it in your mind. Those of you who are familiar with ESPN, now you have it, right? I do. The moment that he did that I heard it, do you know where my mind went? Say it again, brother. No, say it again. To the playoffs. Why did that happen? Well, yes, I mean, it is football season. That is right. Conditioning. It's the conditioning. So all of those notifications that you hear from the Apple message notification, from the Facebook notification, from WhatsApp, from whatever the phone is, guess what it's doing? That's a hit. Because what's the next thing you do? Once you hear the sound, what do? Who liked my post today? Who messaged me today? Who posted some interesting pictures on Instagram, Snapchat, Tumblr, whatever the case is?
That's why Facebook is.
So this is how your brain works. It's conditioned that way. I can guarantee you that 95, 98, maybe even 100%, but we'll go 98% of you, within the 10 seconds that you wake up, your phone is in your hand. This is the conditioning. Now we are bypassing our thinking and just going by what feels good, what feels right. And I love the title of the Sabbath School lesson this week. I see, I want, I take. That is what's going on. And Satan knows this. Now I'm going to take it a step further. Check this out. This is an MRI, I think it's an MRI of your brain. Now you see, this is normal brain. The red is normal. That shows normal pleasure levels. That means that you have normal reaction to pleasurable things without being addicted. Okay? This is the brain of a cocaine addict. That red is gone. So that means they have to have more of the drug in order to experience the same high. This is the brain of an alcoholic. Same thing. I mean, I haven't even talked about, of course, the destruction of the cortex. Not even touched that. Just looking at the effect of the limbic system. But there's one more. This is the brain of a person on a high-fat, high-sugar diet. So you know what your brain is telling you? I need more of whatever the foods I like, because I'm not experiencing the same pleasure. I need more of it. Am I just talking science to you guys? Are you learning about how your brain is operating? Are you learning about why or how Satan is using this information to get everyone that he can under his experiment? Just pressing the button, getting that hit. Are you seeing that this morning? Amen. Amen. Good. So I want to introduce something to you. Check this out. Not only does Satan know this, but he also knows this thing called a habit loop. Now follow along. So it first starts with a cue. You start off with a cue, which is a trigger that tells your brain which routine to use. So something comes up and it's a cue. You're hungry, what do? You go eat. That's a cue. Your cue is you're hungry. Then the next thing is the routine, in which it's the physical, mental, or emotional behavior that follows the cue. Using the food. You're hungry, where do you go? Go into the fridge. Oh, not into the fridge, but into the kitchen. Open a fridge, find something to eat, and then you eat. That leads to the third step, which is the reward, which is the positive stimulus that tells your brain that the routine works. You're hungry? Kitchen, fridge, take some food, eat, I'm full. Oh, this works. I need to remember this for the next time I'm hungry. So the brain will tell you, I'm hungry, go into the fridge, eat something, I'm good. Doing this often enough leads to cravings. This is how every human brain operates. That's just the way it goes. And Satan knows this, so he's like, okay, let me introduce a cue. What cue should I use? Oh, I got it.